Sign in for us and enjoy a mint. Okay, we're just going to jump right into it today. Quick review from last time, talking about dementia. We talked about normal aging and not normal aging. I did some role play with that, just to kind of get a visual and to process that so our minds can wrap around what that is. Some question and answer about dementia versus Alzheimer's and how some questions as far as around that. So we answered some of those questions. We also answered some questions, just so I don't, some mimics of dementia. You know, what some physical symptoms that could be coming out of a medical condition where we might think that someone is losing their memory or having memory problems. We talked about and discussed some of those things. And then we ended with if changes are noticed, what do we do if we notice a change in a loved one, where you have a caregiver supporting a loved one, whether it be staff or family or what have you. We see changes that might draw a question, what do we do? And main thing as we closed last time is that absolutely communicate with your physicians and get that assessment done and talk about what might be happening. Okay, so that's just a quick overview of last time. This time, we're talking about seeing through the eyes, understanding what the person is going through. There's lots of information. We're going to jump right into it, and we're going to do just a little bit. Now, I told you at the first one, and let me say I apologize for not being able to offer the morning one, just this one. We're also attempting to record it. I say attempting because sometimes I don't get it right. Last month I attempted to record it. I got it right. This month we're trying to record it. Hopefully I'll get it right again, and we'll be able to get better at that so we can definitely say, yes, we recorded these things and you can electronically have a copy of it. Wow. Isn't that amazing? You know, we don't do CDs and DVDs anymore. It's electronics. I'll email you a link, whatever that is, right? But magically you click that link and woo, there it is. No CD or DVD necessary. Isn't that amazing? So we're trying to do that. We're trying to do that, okay? Want to provide that, be up there per se with the technos. I don't even know if that's a word or why I even said it. So anyway, so here we are. Let's just jump right into it. What an individual sees. So we want to know, to be able to communicate with or kind of understand, it's a good idea to know what the process is. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Better late than never. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, come right on. Okay, so there's a little bit of exercise, so we'll just jump right into it so you don't fall asleep the first 5 minutes, okay? So 5 senses. We have 5 senses, and this is how humans take in data. So it's important to know how we see things, how we take in data, so we can work with, understand, and look at the individual that's living with dementia, okay? So here they are. It's what you see. I would have made up a song, but I didn't. What you see, what you hear, what you feel, touch, smell, and then taste, okay? So this is how we're going to reference that. We'll take a deep breath. You have 5 fingers on your hand. You know, I said that one time. Somebody held up 4. They really didn't have 5. That was terrible. Gosh, talking about embarrassing. Anyway, you should. okay? If you don't, please forgive me. I did not mean to offend by no means. So here we are, our hand, and we've got 5. So the first one, the one we always turn to by default most of the time, is our eyes, what we see, our visual. What's the visual layout? All the time, we're doing that first. We just do it. We do it naturally. Don't even realize we're doing it. I guess you could say we probably take that piece for granted. You could say. So, first one, visual. Second one is what we hear. Okay? What we hear. So our audio. What are we listening to? So we want to see it. Then we want to hear it. And then the next one we take in data, we want to touch. Okay? So, yeah, that's rough. Okay? Smooth. Okay? Curly. No, that's curly. So 3, touch. Okay? Number 4, well, you smell. If your breathing is good, you know, if you're not sick or sinuses and all that good stuff, you're going to smell. Because you're going to notice if something doesn't smell good or right. Okay? Taking in that data. And the last one is your taste. Your taste buds. Very active. We enjoy to eat. We enjoy eating. We enjoy a mint. If you don't have one, I've got some. I enjoy a mint. So therefore, if I get close to you, it don't hurt you. And you're not having to use that number 4. Okay, so, yes. Where's what I do with it? Okay, here we go. So, there's the 5. So, let's just do it together. Let's hold up your hand. Do a little exercise. I told you the first month, last month, we'll make it a little interactive along the way. Next month, wow. Can't wait. First one is what? See. Right. Second one is? Hear. Yes. Third? Feel. Fourth? Smell. Taste. Yes. Very good. You guys are great. Oh, goodness. If I had a prize, but I don't. Just a minute. Okay, the most powerful sensory we've talked about. Auditory. What do we often do wrong? Care partners like to talk. So as we progress in the area, the umbrella, remember we talked about the umbrella of dementia, someone that is living with dementia or a dementia, we talked about last time, there's many. Alzheimer's is the most diagnosed, okay? That's the difference. We have an umbrella of dementia. There are, as we progress in a dementia, sometimes we will move through and we will decrease, which I'll show you in just a minute. So things start to decrease. Those 5 start to decrease. Now you may look at me and say, wow, he's a sharp-looking dude. You probably were thinking that. Okay, maybe not. But other stuff might be going on, right, that I don't know about or you not know about. Of course, there's a little bit of vision going on because I have glasses. If I'm reading your lips, you may not know how much of hearing might be gone. So in dementia, those things are even more so diminished as we progress in the disease. So the person with dementia is focused on how we look visually, and they're not processing the content. So when we begin to talk to an individual that is walking through or progressing, so to speak, in the dementia, sometimes we say too many words. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Making a note. Now, if I am in your space, and I'm talking to you, but you don't see me, and you don't really know me, or even if you do, you may not like me. I don't know. You don't have to respond. But I'm in your space, right? So if I'm touching you, right?
Yes.
How uncomfortable is that? Just me and you, right? How uncomfortable is that if I'm not getting paid and I'm not supposed to touch you? So how uncomfortable would that be when you're speaking or in someone's space and I'm touching you, right? It's not comfortable. Okay? So if I'm touching you and I don't do what first? Right? Okay? And then the second one would be to talk, and I touch you first, and I don't do those two things. There's a progression. So we want to look and speak before we gather the touch information, the touch data. Okay? It will make more sense as we move forward. Now, let's take this slide here. Down here, UCLA School of Medicine. They have done research where they have had individuals that have passed on with normal brains and individuals that have passed on with brains that have dementia, that passed away with dementia. So there's been research done, and these are the next few slides that we're going to look at. So if you'll notice here in this, yeah, God, you guys are great. And the progression versus the normal brain. So you got normal, see all the color, early, late, and then they put the child there because sometimes if we're working with an individual and we think they might be progressing in the dementia, sometimes, honey, bless your heart, I'm so sorry that you're going through this, and here, let me help you. And you know, sometimes we might take a childlike view where we're still adults. They're still adults living with dementia. It's easy. It's easy to do, and I would say easy just because coming from the medical field. But if the child here, if you notice the color representation for the child, and then the color here of the PET scan representation of the late stage, and we just do the early and the late, and this is what they did there. So if you'll just take a look at that, and real quickly, tell me what you see. What's the first thing that comes to mind as you look at this? And you see normal, early, late. Yes?
Changes to blue.
Changes, colors. Okay. Childhood, Anyone else?
It gets simpler, the brain gets
Yes. And
less complex.
Right. Anyone else have a thought?
It empties out.
Empties out. Okay, so let's take the brain as we see here. So when we're understanding our folks that are living with dementia, we want to understand what the brain is doing. It's important. It's important to know and understand these things. Now, is it always easy? Absolutely not. Some of you guys have shared some tough stories, and I appreciate you sharing. But if you'll see here, normal and Alzheimer's. This individual passed away with the normal brain, and they're taking it for research. This individual here passed away with late Alzheimer's stage, and they're helping us take a look at what the research is. So I set my clock so I can stay on time. Okay, so take a few minutes here. The brain actually shrinks. Cells wither. Abilities are lost. Alzheimer's areas of loss is fairly predictable, but the experience is individual. We discussed that a little bit last time as far as what the individual living with dementia is going through and how different the stages are. and how different one may be one day, and the next day they might be what we would consider having a good day. You know, they remembered me, or they remembered something. And then the next day they could be cussing you, and they've never cussed before. So brain and vision. Now we're going to stay here just a little bit because our title is what they see, what we see, what we're looking at, what they're looking at, but through their eyes. So through their eyes, the vision center. Now, the vision is back here in the back of your brain, okay? So this here is the back, that's the frontal lobe, okay? If you'll notice the difference, someone want to shout out what they see as a different for the two brains? Mm-hmm, yes? Okay, yes?
It's color changed.
Okay, color, yes. So in the back is your vision. Okay? So, oh gosh, I keep losing this thing. All right, so let's talk about the vision. What is lost in vision? Now this is progression. Okay? We're going to do a little exercise to help you understand the progression. There again, there's many facets, there's much training, there's much things that we can learn from. So we try to take 45 minutes per month, give you some good information to take with you. All right. Edges of vision, peripheral field, loss. Depth perception, loss. Object recognition linked to purpose. Slower to process, scanning, shifting, focus. But there are some things that are preserved. Seeing things in middle field, okay, and looking at, very curious, okay. Even the vision decreases, we're still curious. Okay, so we're going to stop right here on this frame, just a moment, and we're going to go through just another exercise. The exercise is individuals that are living with dementia. That's what we're talking about. It's the workshop. Information given to you, information processed to you, understanding what's happening. Last time we talked about memory. Last time we talked about some onset things happening. Folks living with dementia. So this one, we're going to move forward into what's happening in the progression of dementia. Now, there again, I always say, we are a family here. We are here to learn. We are here to grow together, learn these things together. You came here for a reason. One of those reasons is for us to be aware of your surroundings, and we're going to take care of you. That's why you signed up. You signed up probably before you knew me. But thanks anyway, okay? No. So we want you to know that we're here not to frighten, right? Right? Okay? We're not doing these workshops to frighten or make uncomfortable, right? We're here to take something that's happening to us globally, if I may, and bring it to Trine Estates, and let's walk through it together, okay? So, walking through it together is you support me, I support you, we support one another. Information is one of those things, okay? So, information. How is it looking with someone that's progressing through living with dementia? The progression of, okay? So, the progression, if you'll notice, the first one is edges of vision. Now, if we go back to what we see first, the data entry, okay? So, for instance, let me go back here in the back. Nora. What did Nora do when I called her name? Yeah. Nora looked. Okay? So when individuals' names are called, you want to be in sight, in front. Okay? Next month, there's more. We're increasing our hands-on study, so to speak. Skill building is what next month is. So more information right now. If I'm calling you, I want you to see me, okay? If I touch before you see me, and the individual, let's go back to the slide. See, let's review here what's going on in the vision. Okay, so the vision's going. So you need to be in front if the vision's going. But if I touch before I see, it does what? It does what to you, Jean, if I come up behind you?
Confused.
Yeah, confused.
I took an AARP driving test. I think it was AARP.
Uh-huh.
And in that test, towards the end of it, they had a peripheral vision test.
Mm-hmm.
And they implied that you lose some peripheral vision as you age naturally.
Naturally, yes.
Is that true?
That is true. So normal aging, yes. Normal aging, okay. So now we're going to, if you wouldn't mind, we're going to sit up straight, we're going to do a little activity, okay? I'm not going to ask you to talk to anybody, just in case you don't like them. No. So we're just going to do a little activity together, okay? And it's just going to help you understand more of this piece, this vision piece, okay, that I'm discussing, okay? That's getting worse as other parts are. And I want to talk about the vision first, okay? And then we're going to finish up with a few other areas, okay? So, vision for an individual, normal aging, we've discussed. It's natural, okay? So my hands out is our peripheral, okay? So as we age, okay, it grows smaller, okay? That's natural. So as dementia takes over, or if a person living with dementia, it increases faster, okay? So it's important, there again, stay in front of the individual as they increase. So now we're here with someone that has living with dementia. They're here. So there's no, okay? As the progression, as it moves forward, okay? As the progression of dementia is what we're talking about. Yes. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh. And it's different for each one. Mm-hmm. But generalizing, when we say, and we'll talk about that next to last when I go over GEMS, okay? Which is the different stages. But most of the time you'll hear early stage, middle stage, late stage, kind of that, okay? So as we move into, yes?
Is it the same for all types of dementia?
It is. It is. This is the reason why Teepa Snow group goes over the dementia, the umbrella dementia. So it's whatever dementia you have. Now there are some, as we learned last time, when for someone to have a dementia, you'll see the progression or the degression, 2 parts of the brain begin to die, begin to shrink, as you've seen up here, okay? So dementia, as the umbrella, there are things that happen no matter what dementia that you have, you'll see and recognize as you or individual living with dementia progresses through, okay? Yes?
Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Does the brain shrink equally in all areas?
No.
Or might it shrink in one area and not?
Yes. which we'll talk, yes, which we'll see in just a minute. Okay? Yes.
I was gonna say, so I guess you would have to connect that to other symptoms, because if someone would have some macular degeneration, the first to go is the peripheral vision.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The
Yes.
central, the central vision in macula, because I have it.
Okay.
Glaucoma is the peripheral vision.
Okay.
There's damage to the optic nerve.
Yes.
I have experience with it.
Okay. So, any more questions about vision?
Well,
Okay.
are you saying that if they're looking straight ahead,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking straight ahead,
Yes.
I can see you moving because you were in my peripheral.
Uh-huh.
Do
Yes.
they not even see anybody moving over there? Are they only focused
As the disease progresses.
Really, the whole vision
As the
narrows?
disease progresses. Yes, ma'am. It's just one other part of the brain that decreases. Okay? And the reason why we're talking about this is because we want to know what the individual living with dementia is seeing, so we, that's around and that's in their world, can understand. So we always are in front, no matter what stage they're in. Yes?
The only thing is that occasionally you go directly in front to talk to them. If they turn their head and then turn back,
Yes.
you forget you were there.
Yes.
And startle. So sometimes you try to do that, but you also recognize.
And there again, depending on the stage, the day, it's different. The progression is different.
Turn the head
Yes,
when they turn back.
absolutely, absolutely. Cheryl was stating that depending on what stage of progression of dementia that you're in, an individual you could be talking to and their attention goes to the side and then they come back and then you startle them all over again. Because at the mid to later stage, those things happen.